Hi there, this is Gasman, and I'm here with this exciting package that just arrived today. This is the Speccy2010, the next generation Spectrum, being developed by a guy from the Ukraine who goes by the name of Sid. He's been building these in small runs since sort of middle of the way through last year, as the name suggests, and as far as I'm aware, this is the first one that's actually found its way outside of Russia and the Ukraine. So since it's kind of a big occasion, I thought it deserved a sort of big unboxing video like you get the Apple Mac geeks doing when they're the first people to get their hands on a new MacBook or whatever. And you've got to admit, this is much more exciting than the sort of package you get a new MacBook in. So let's sort of dig into it and see what we've got. So yeah, getting hold of this has been a whole adventure in itself. So I got in touch with Sid through the... So yeah, I got in touch with Sid through the zx.pk.ru forums, which are the big web forums for the Russian Spectrum community. So there's a thread on there that's where people can sort of drop a line, register their interest, and then place their order. So I signed up on that forum, and obviously it's all Russian language, so I was making heavy use of Google Translate, but that seemed to work quite well. So I yeah, put a note of interest on there, and a week or so later I got an email back from him saying that it was ready. So then we sorted out all the details of delivery and payment, and I actually made the payment by MoneyGram, because unfortunately the PayPal isn't really available in Russia, so it's all sort of a bit more complicated than you're really used to. And so in all it worked out as so it's $125 for the unit itself, and then it was $50 US dollars for the postage. This is going by express mail. I'm not sure if that gives you any sort of extra insurance or whatever, but I thought I didn't want to go the cheap route there, given what was at stake and this sort of early adopter nature of it all. And then it was sort of £10 charge for the MoneyGram transfer. You can do Western Union as well, but that worked out as a bit more expensive. So MoneyGram seems to be the way to go if you're ordering from the UK. And then I got stung for I think there was a label on there, 30 quid in customs charges. Which, again, it's a bit of an ouch moment, but again, better to do things officially by the book, rather than trying to cheat the system and end up with it getting confiscated or something. So, yeah. So, let's see if I can actually find my way in here. It seems to have been very well packed there. Rip it to pieces, that's the way. Right. So, what have we got? So, I've got the hand a little box. Oh no, that is a cute little thing, isn't it? It's, so, let's see. It looks like I'm going to have to cut holes in that myself to actually put it all together. Now these are the yes, nice little stickers to go on top, make it look all pretty. Bit of blank paper, and here we have the exciting bit itself, the board. So let's see. So yes, the main thing that you need to know about this thing, it's got this SD card slot. It's So that's where you can sort of load up your emulator files, of disk images, tape images, snapshots, just in the usual formats that you'd usually have emulator files in. Yeah, so then you can save all the misery of loading from tape. Well, maybe I like the misery of loading from tape. Yeah, so it's it's based on the FPGA as that's the heart of it all, and so it's all configurable hardware. The idea is that you have your sort of configuration file on the SD card, and then when it boots up, it will emulate. Well, it will configure itself on boot up as a particular model of Spectrum with a particular set of peripherals. And I nearly said it was an emulator there, but that's the important thing to sort of geeks like me, that it's not an emulator. When it's actually sort of configured this chip, then it's actually physically, the electrons are going around just as they would on if it was a real Z80, a real Spectrum ULA. So it's kind of like if you're one of these vinyl nuts, it's insist this is the one true way of doing things. It's not one of these rubbishy emulators. So yeah, it's as far as the other sort of bits and pieces we've got there, we've got the USB sort of slot for, I think that's for doing the initial programming. I'll have to find out all this stuff shortly. Audio, so video, I've got S-Video VGA, and I guess that'll be composite. Couple of joystick ports on the front, and we've got SD card slot as mentioned, and the two sort of PS2 keyboard and mouse. So let's get stuck into putting all this stuff together then. Just check there's not, no, it's all packing material. So yes, I'll be back in a moment, hopefully with the whole thing wired up. Okay, so I think we've got all of the stuff set up here. We've got our VGA monitor, PS2 keyboard, and the power supply. Now, obviously the board itself, it doesn't come with the power supply, which is probably sensible enough, especially as we have our own crazy power standard in the UK. So that's you just need a sort of universal power supply that does 5 volts at 1 amp or more. And as it happened, I didn't have one already. I had one that does 4.5 volts and ones that didn't quite have enough juice, but they might have worked, but again, I didn't really want to do things by halves, so I actually bought a new one, which is it turned out to be the most expensive one that Maplin do, but so it was another 20 quid, but like I say, I didn't want to do things by halves, so right, so I think it's time to power up. Now, I should say I'm not necessarily expecting very much to happen at this point, because as I said, it's all programmable logic, so I don't know what, if anything, he's pre-flashed onto all of these things, and obviously I don't have the SD card in right now, so moment of truth then, let's actually see what happens when I fire it up. Wait for the sort of big plume of smoke. Well, certainly got a flash of LEDs on the keyboard. Nothing yet there. Now, it did say in the documentation you might need to sort of use, I think it was Control 3 or Control 4 to, no, nothing there, to actually switch it to VGA mode. But I think given the lack of any real activity there, I think that we need to move on to the next stage, which is figuring out how to flash the initial bootloader onto the ARM chip, which is this little one here, and the idea is that will then get it far enough to be able to start loading stuff off SD card, or at least recognising that there isn't an SD card there. So the next thing I need to do then is to install the right drivers on my Mac so that I can connect it over the USB, and it'll be able to see that as a COM port, and I can sort of start squirting the binary data of the bootloader over USB, and then we might get a tiny bit further. So, see you in a bit. Hello and welcome back to our voyage of discovery. It seems that I may have been a bit mistaken about the whole bootloader thing, and that meant I ended up going on a bit of a wild goose chase, but in the interests of knowledge sharing, I'll show you the steps I've just gone through to find my bearings again. So if you're not interested in the techie details, then feel free to glaze over at this point. Okay, so this is the website where I downloaded the USB drivers for OS X. I'll put all the details of this. I'll write it up properly and link it from the video description, so you can retrace these steps. And that was just a standard. Let me find the right thing. A standard sort of OS X installer. There's similar ones for Windows on the same page, and what that meant was that when I connected it up via USB, then it gave me a couple of new devices under the dev, which is this USB serial here, and there's a similar one for the TTY. And after a bit of digging around on the internet, I discovered I could actually talk to it over the serial port using this magic incantation, which I will fire up now. No. Oh, it doesn't seem very happy there. Let's try that again. Yes, it seems happier now. Right. Okay, so now I've got this jumper that I need to sort of connect to. This is really just for power. I'm not sure why sort of using the jumper is better than actually plugging the thing in and out, but I won't argue about this sort of thing. And so if I put that together, then oh, it's sort of getting some sort of meaningful thing. It's saying SDE, so this is about as far as it got when I just reset it there. So yeah, that's sort of kind of what we've got. So what we can see here, given that it's actually spitting out something vaguely meaningful, is that it is actually sort of getting as far as the bootloader and saying there's no SD card there. And well, sure enough, there isn't. So this is so in fact this means that we did have the bootloader in there after all, and all we really needed to do was get the stuff on the SD card, which was exactly what we were expecting, which was a bit silly of me. So so I've got the SD card in here, and these are the things I need to stick on it. A couple of firmware files there, the bin and the RBF. These are all available on the website to download. And then you've also got the ROMs here in the subdirectory, and a well-known platform game there. And so if I try that again, just with the SD card here, yeah. So if I remove that and stick that in there. And if we have another go at booting up now, there we go. Now it's doing sort of, it's seen that we've got the FPGA in there and the ROMs, and it's doing its fancy stuff of programming the chip. So I think we're now ready for the moment of truth and seeing if that's actually done the job of actually giving us a Spectrum. So let's connect everything together. So get this disconnected first. So, keyboard, monitor, and so, moment of truth then. Do we have a working Spectrum? Programming. PS2 keyboard OK. So now we probably need to set it to VGA. Yes, got a green light there. And I do believe that's a Spectrum. Way! And so here we can bring up the menu of items here. So we've got games. There we go. So, success all around then. Oh, this isn't quite the game I expected, but anyway, that's looks like we're in motion now, and so it's just off to have a bit more of a play around and see what this thing can do then. So thanks very much for watching. Okay, so as a kind of epilogue, here's something a bit more ambitious than Manic Miner. This is Wolfenstein 2004, which is a Russian game for the TR-DOS disk system, so typically not something that you'd be able to get running on a standard UK Spectrum. And I'm actually running this at 8 times speed, because that's another neat feature of the Speccy2010, is that it has the turbo mode. And really what I want to get across in all of this is that when people are coming up with these forum posts on the Spectrum forum saying, wouldn't it be great if someone came up with a next generation Spectrum that could load games off SD card and have a new improved processor, and this stuff, it exists right now. Look, you can get your hands on this stuff, and yeah, it's cost me £160, £170, something like that, so it's not the sort of thing that you'd wander into Argos and get your hands on just casually like that, but as far as hobbyist sort of things go, this is a decent price. You can get this stuff, get your hands on this, there's nothing mythical about it. So yeah, this is the Specky2010, it's the future, and I hope you'll join me. Cheers!